Kia ora, hello, Paul Brennan, Bring Our Birds Home on Tuesday, May 8th. I know it's been a while since the last video update. Apologies for the gap, but there's a good reason for that. I've been incredibly busy with broadcasting work. It's a busy time of year for me. And also, you know, we've been having to deal with some procedural and administrative issues which aren't very exciting to talk about, but let me bring you up to date. We are a trust now. We are the Bring Our Birds Home Trust. We have 5 trustees, myself, Darren Hunter, Jason Rhodes from the Toy and Transport Museum, his colleague David Shackleton of Christchurch, and our technical consultant Rex Stanners of Auckland. Just arranging a get-together for the 5 trustees at Wanaka at the Transport and Toy Museum inside the next few weeks. And I'll be taking camera gear to that meeting and filming the museum and the area where we plan to put these airframes, and hopefully we'll have meetings with some of the local movers and shakers, the business people, the local government people. We're just trying to line up those ducks right now. Also, we're waiting for that final word from Brazil on how we can purchase NZC, the airframe that was the Air New Zealand DC-8, sitting at Manaus Airport in Brazil, essentially in the Amazonian jungle. Cesar Nogueira, who is our representative in Brazil, informed me late last week that the judge who will be making the decision on whether we can buy this direct, thus avoiding a lengthy public auction or tendering process, given Infraero is a government company and they are required by law to dispose of assets in a certain way. They can get a waiver to sell it to us direct. That's what's happening at the moment. The judge now has the application, I'm told. We can't hurry the judge. They don't like being hurried. So there's no point in sort of hustling that along. It has to come in its own time, but I'm told it won't be too far away. So that's to come. Also, we've been in constant contact with the owners of NAD, the 737 airframe, just out of Charlotte, North Carolina in the US. They're well aware of where we're at on that. No problem there. And as far as the DC-10 airframe at Havana, Cuba is concerned, there's been a recent change in president in Cuba, some quite big political changes, taking the time of the ambassador here. Shortly, in the not too distant future, I should be able to reconnect with Mario. Main point is that DC-10 is going nowhere. They know we want it. So in a way, we've achieved the highest priority mission of Bring Our Birds Home, and that is to stop the airframes being scrapped while we try and work out how we can buy them and bring them back. Now, we're waiting for the charitable trust status to be granted to us. That's a procedural thing. We've done the application, we've ticked all the boxes, and we should know very shortly that we have that status. Once we have that, we'll be clear to go out to the big donors who can get the tax breaks from donating to us. And this is very important because we need about $1 million to be real to buy NZC and NAD, have them dismantled properly, and have them transported back to New Zealand. Transportation is probably going to turn out to be the most expensive single item. It's incredible. The Bring Our Birds Home campaign has spread far and wide. It's becoming a United Nations in a way. A couple of examples of that is that we have a team of Russian aircraft engineers working on the dismantling of the DC-8. It's quite a complicated affair, dismantling a DC-8. They're built in a very strong way. The engineering is very strong, and to dismantle that engineering in a way that we can easily, or without too much fuss, reassemble it at the other end and have a decent display requires a lot of planning and research. And we've been talking to various companies, but this Russian group who helped prepare artifacts for Patriot Park, which is the Air Force Museum out of Moscow, they've come up with a way of dismantling the DC-8, which involves taking the wing off in one piece. Now, it's quite complicated, but the way that Douglas used to build their aircraft, different from Boeing, means that the wing is essentially one piece, and to cut it up into smaller pieces affects it structurally. So when you get it back to display, there are problems like hanging the engines off it because it can't take the weight. And I want these aircraft to look like the day they came off the production line. I don't want supports and stands under them to sort of help them be displayed. I want them to sit there in their own right on the gears looking like the real deal. So we have to be really careful and professional about how we plan and go about the dismantling of this aircraft. So it's great to have these experienced guys in Russia helping us out on that. And recently one of that team, Andre, has been in the Netherlands talking to ex-KLM engineers who are very experienced in DC-8s. We should have some feedback from Andre in the next few days with additional information which will help us in that task. Likewise, the 737 needs careful dismantling. It's a little easier though because the wings can be taken off in 2 separate pieces, and of course the fuselage is not so long, so it can probably remain in one piece. The DC-10, well, we haven't really looked at that yet. I think we're going to learn quite a bit from the smaller two that we can apply to the DC-10, but that's not going anywhere, so we're not worried about that, and the other two are still in service. So that really brings us up to date on the Bring Our Birds Home front. We're just letting everything else catch up with our efforts from the last year. I think we made remarkable progress in the first year, and I'm really pleased we secured those airframes so we have more time to work through the issues and to ultimately form a plan to get them back. That has turned out to have worked well. And now we're at that point where we're just waiting for those administrative things to catch up, and then we're into another mode, full on, and we can't fail at the next bit. We need to get the money in, about $1 million. We need to get that in to at least get the DC-8 and the 737 back to New Zealand and even fund some of the initial restoration for display. We need to get around some big donors. We need to make a very good case to anyone who is prepared to listen that these are important artifacts, that we only get one shot at saving these. There are no others. Once these have gone, that's it. And it's up to us to get a good media and publicity story out there to donors and potential supporters. That is our big task. We need to be successful in doing that if Bring Our Birds Home concept is to be successful. And I think we can do that. I think plenty of people know about our efforts now. Certainly the feedback from the museum in Wanaka, where that big banner is, and the publicity that's gone out, that many people, Jason tells me, many people come by asking about where we're at, how they can donate. They can make donations at the museum, and very positive about what we're doing. So I'm really pleased with that. Also, people from other parts of the world are contacting us with similar desires to save aircraft that are precious or artifacts of their social and transportation history. And Samir Haki is one of them. He's based in Canada. He's trying to save one of the original Pakistan DC-10 Series 30s from the early 70s. And Bring Our Birds Home is sort of helping him out with that, a few strategies and social media formats to push that campaign out. He's already located the aircraft. It's sitting in the US. And he sent in this picture, which is classic from the 70s, showing the tail of the DC-10 NZP, this one, the Erebus aircraft. And who knows, the DC-10 off in the background could be ours, NZS. But I'm pleased to see that this campaign has got the reach to the point where other people in other parts of the world who want to do a similar campaign and save their history are coming to us and asking for help and advice on what can be done to make their campaign successful. So I'm really pleased about that, and thank you, Samir, for those pics, and we'll keep working together. And as we help or work with other people to help them in their efforts with the smarts that we have, I'll certainly update you on those things as well. Well, that's about it for now. As I say, it's been a bit of a long time between drinks, but we haven't gone away. Again, thank you for all your support. The Give a Little page at givealittle.co.nz/cause/Bring Our Birds Home is still open. Very shortly, that will be transferred to the Bring Our Birds Home Trust. So when you're giving, or when you're giving now, you're ultimately giving to the trust, because all that money will go to the trust. But very shortly, that will be going directly into the trust. And once it's charitable status, you'll be able to claim back tax from that, and obviously we'll crow about that. You'll hear very quickly about that when it happens, and that's not too far away. And again, thank you for your support and your words of encouragement. For the folks who've been with us since day one, I can't thank you enough for your commitment, your loyalty, your positivity. You're always saying, Paul, don't give up, don't stop, don't stop. I get it. I hear it loud and clear. We won't stop. We're going to give it everything. We're going to try and get these airframes back. And one day you'll go through the doors of that museum, and you'll look through and you'll see those beautiful tails, DC-8, 737, DC-10, Lockheed Electra, 747. Of course, they've got the F-27 there as well. They'll be sitting there, and they'll look $1 million. They'll look like the day they came off the production lines. And what's really good, as far as I'm concerned, is that people who haven't even been born yet will be able to go and look at those airliners and get a taste of what innovative, forward-thinking New Zealanders did for their country back in the day, and how these machines helped build our nation and make it what it is today, and that's what it's all about. So thanks for your support. It won't be too much longer before another video update. I'm hoping the next one will be, hey, we've got the charitable status, and the judges said fire away with the NZC, buy it off them direct, no problem. That shouldn't be too far away. But in the meantime, thanks for your page visits. Thanks for your messages of support, and thank you for your donations. Look forward to catching up again soon.